I would say call the authorities if I fall, but you don't know where I live. Good. And also, this isn't live, so if I do fall, then that is tragic final moments caught on camera. Just kidding, probably. I mean, it's not like that far of a drop. It is certainly take you to the hospital kind of drop, though. Oh, fuck. Something's squeaking, dude. Not like, I mean like a creature. Okay, so there's an owl hooting, but then there are also little screeches, which may be like baby owls, or it might be the prey of whatever the owl was, like the prey of the owl, like whatever the owl was hunting in that moment. Something. It sounded more like a bird screech though, so I'd wager like baby birds or something, or maybe a different type of bird. But yeah, that was just weird. It was going like, I don't know if it can even be heard on camera right now. But yeah. So, probably shouldn't be, bouncing, considering that this is just a slope, There's nothing at the bottom to catch me. If I tumble, I go, whoa, and then you probably hear a thud. Honestly, I have no idea what's down there. I might even get impaled. Like my friend who broke his arm riding his bike, and his arm got impaled by his handlebars after he fell into a ditch. Yeah. Not a fun or pleasant experience, although when we played paintball that fall, he still had a cast on, and so he couldn't participate in the normal competitive mode, but he got to participate in like the free-for-all, and he just wore an orange vest, and so we were told, alright, so he can shoot you guys, you can't shoot him. I don't think I ever even ended up running into him during that game of paintball, so, kind of a moot point for me. But literally, I would have just had to run away if he started shooting at me, because I had no other recourse. That reminds me of the time when I won a 1v13 of paintball, where I was, I wasn't out if I got shot. I was out if I decided I was out. But I only sustained one shot. Only one person managed to shoot me the entire game, and all of them got out. So, and I had no ammo for like half the game. Yeah, I'm kind of smart. No, it was for real. That was a great game of paintball. My friends were thoroughly impressed, mainly because of the fact that I won that game mode, sustaining one shot and having no ammo for half the game. I think the no ammo for half the game was probably, the most impressive part. Anyway, hi. I was recently asked if I'm going to start, branching out, doing more styles of content. I don't know yet, to be honest. I've never intended to, do content creation specifically. I kind of just, grab my phone, start recording, and, go from there. So I have no idea what I would even do. It's like, I'm not following trends. I'm not, hacking the algorithm, trying to find the best stuff. I mean, for the longest time, Mr. Beast, when he was coming up on YouTube, his entire goal was to find the most optimal shit. Like, he truly has, throughout his entire career, tried to hack the algorithm as best he can, try to do the things that will draw the most viewers, just keep upping the ante, do crazier and crazier things, and he ended up the most subscribed YouTube channel of all time. So, it's a method. It works. Like, if you're trying to do content creation as a job, there are ways you can do it. And of course, I'm not saying copy the Mr. Beast formula, because Lord knows there's enough Mr. Beast clones out there. But also, it's possible for you to pay attention to trends and pay attention to what's performing well, what's performing less well, and, follow your gut instincts and, ride the wave of the algorithm as much as possible. But that's not really what I'm looking to do, I'm trying to be real here. I'm trying to be... I'm trying to be genuine. And I don't see many other forms of, like, I can do other forms of content for fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I won't do other forms of content. But I'm not just going to start doing other things because they might get more views. I'm not trying to, get more subs or, improve my like ratio, or not even the ratio. The ratio is generally pretty good. It's just improve the amount of likes I have going on. I'm not trying to get likes, subs, comments. No, I am trying to get comments. I retract that statement. Comments are, the only thing I really care about because I am engaging with people. But, the other stuff doesn't really matter to me. But I might still do other content, for fun. Probably not gaming content. I might live stream a bit, There's a smaller content creator that I was hanging out with on some live streams on an alt account. His live streams were cool. I don't know that that's what I would necessarily do. I'm not sure, I don't have any ideas or plans. I just talk to my camera, and I let people know what's going on in terms of my thinking, my feeling, Although there is less and less to report, the less interesting things happen, because my mindset is... My daily mindset is pretty consistent. Sad and lonely, both romantically and, friend-wise. Although that should happen less because I am going to start, hanging out with my friends this week some. Anxious a lot of the time. Really, just very anxious a lot of the time. Semi-depressed, to be honest. Lately, just because of the fact that I've been in a rut and I haven't gotten to hang out with my friends in a week. I'm just kind of stuck, That shit sucks. So there's that. But it's a pretty consistent mindset, It's a regular thing. So it's not like I have a lot to report on. I'm probably going to start going to abandoned places and, exploring them, hanging out there, I found an urban exploration map that has been, crowdsourced for abandoned areas. I was also recently informed of an abandoned area that I might want to hit up. Although I have heard that so many people hit up that abandoned area that it may have barbed wire. I'll try not to get in trouble with the law. I'm doing anything illegal, not even once. But yeah, I'm gonna start going to abandoned places and like hanging out. I might even record a video at an abandoned place. You know, might be sick. But yeah, I remembered today that there was like a Krispy Kreme gift card on my bedside table that still had a decent amount of money on it, and by a decent amount of money, I mean not a lot, but you know. And so I bought 3 donuts with it, and now there's like 80 cents on there. And they were delicious. Well, 2 of them were. I gave the other one to my brother because somehow, some way, it would probably be easier for me to kill somebody than to shake the feeling of greedy gluttony that would be to use money that was on a gift card that my dad randomly gave to me to buy 3 donuts and eat them all for myself when my brother is home. It's weird. It's weird. I could definitely probably take a life way more easily than I could have eaten all 3 of those donuts. And that's just how it be sometimes, you know? Woo. I'm just kind of an unserious person when it comes to myself. Like, I don't take myself very seriously, as you can probably tell. I call myself names. I just don't take myself seriously, you know? And so I was thinking about, like, doing an edit of myself, and I was like, you know, I probably should, like, in one of the clips for the edit, because, like, obviously I need clips for the edit, and I might, like, insert some pictures, and I have those. But as far as clips go, I'm not sure that I have very many, like, actual clips, because in these videos I'm not doing anything active. I'm just sitting here talking. And because of that, you know, like, I'm gonna have to take videos in which clips can be made. I'm gonna have to purposefully make clips for an edit. I haven't 100% decided on the song, you know. I was thinking maybe Feline by Juice WRLD, but to be honest, that might be taking myself a little too seriously. But to be honest, I was thinking about putting a temporary Hello Kitty tattoo on my face for one of the clips, like, probably, like, right there or something. So, just to make sure I don't take myself too seriously, you know? Even if I've got a weapon in my hand of some kind. Just to even out, you know, the balance and the force. Yeah. Or I might just go complete opposite direction and just choose a song that's, like, hella cute, to be honest. Did I just say to be honest? I was gonna say to be honest, and then I was gonna say TBH. I guess I just settled in the middle. But yeah. Yeah, that might be fun. I've video edited before, you know, done some rudimentary things. I've done it for school projects. I've done it for fun, you know. I kind of have a little bit of experience, not a ton, but I know my way around a couple programs, you know. It's not like I am incapable. So, I don't know. And then I say shit like that, and then I never do it because I procrastinate to a very extreme degree. It's not good for me. It's really not. I was thinking about making a Kenny McCormick edit, from South Park, because he's a badass, and I couldn't find any badass Kenny edits on YouTube. Maybe the problem was looking up exactly what I wanted, badass Kenny edits, instead of, like, Kenny. Something super vague like that, No, that would not work. No, I'm slightly being facetious and slightly being stupid. Yeah. Anyway. Arson's cool. No, arson is not cool. I think I remember digital footprint after I say things like that while on camera. And you're like, well, you could cut this out. And it's like, yeah, but that'd be a lot of work. So, arson's not cool. Don't do it. And, yeah. Man, I need to actually start talking about something before I get myself imprisoned. Although I can't really be implicated in any cases, and I do, as a U.S. citizen, supposedly have a First Amendment right to express myself, although expressing that arson is cool probably doesn't make cops look favorably on you. Yeah. So basically, I guess we're gonna talk a little bit about relationships. So basically, my best friend, I think I may have mentioned it in the first entry of this video diary. The video that started it all. Woo! Me bored one night and remembering an idea I had months ago. But my best friend had a fiance, which is kind of weird considering I just became an adult, and I'm pretty... No, they weren't engaged before... Oh, fuck, they were engaged before he turned 18. Anyway, I'm just recently an adult, and yeah, they got engaged before he was an adult. But it's completely legal here, and it's not like they were doing anything anyway, so there's nothing to be implicated in. But yeah, no, he was engaged at the ripe old age of 17. Don't get me wrong, I can understand his reasons, and I'm not going to get too in-depth into that. But he was engaged, and that ended. And it kind of crashed and burned pretty horribly. First of all, something that did not help the situation is that her father is a fucking, maniac, dude. I'm crazy, dude. Don't get me wrong. I would not fuck with that man if I was you. I'm not you. And if the situation called for it, I might put myself in harm's way. But he's also jacked as shit, which is why I would not win that fight. And he is trained by the county to do unspeakable things, because he is also, for some reason, allowed to walk the streets with a badge and a gun. Walking the streets with a gun where I'm from isn't that crazy, but with a badge, yeah, he's a maniac who has a badge. Who ever heard of such a thing? No, it's not uncommon, but he is a maniac. Now, he's not a racist maniac, so he's not going to be doing any brutality. He's just wildly illogical and controlling towards his family. You know, if he sees this, he might be pissed at me. And I don't honestly care. I would be sad if he never let his son around me again. Or at least until he loses control of his son. Okay, so let's talk. So, yeah. The relationship, the engagement crashed and burned. Mainly because of the fact that basically that controlling maniac of a father, somewhere along the line stunted his daughter's emotional growth. And, you know, my best friend and her, they started out, you know, on the same page. As far as, like, emotional maturity went. They were about in the same place. They were in a good place to start a relationship. Everything was cool. Everything was fine. And somewhere along the way, her controlling father, and I'm never going to claim he's abusive, because that's just straight up fucking defamation. I don't know. And he probably is not physically abusive at all. I would not bet against him being emotionally abusive. He is controlling. He's a fucking maniac. But I will not claim any abuse. Mainly because of the fact that could maybe be considered defamation. Emotional, I would say, is likely, which is my opinion on the matter. But no, nothing further. Anyway, no, her controlling father somewhere along the line stunted her growth. And so they started off here, and then they were growing, you know, emotionally, learning more things about the world. And then he keeps growing, and she stopped. Which, I mean, they were getting settled into a relationship, so, you know, they still, like, knew each other. But then she moved out of the house when she turned 18. And, you know, she started growing again because she got new hobbies and new friends because she was finally actually free to do what she wanted to do. And she ended up changing. Which was good for her personal growth. And I'll never not say that it was good for her personal growth because it helped her learn who she was and who she wanted to be, which I will never say is a bad thing. But it was a bad thing for their relationship because now they're going separate ways in two wildly different directions. Personality-wise, you know, interest-wise, like, it's not good for their relationship. It's very, very not good for their relationship. And that is pretty much the key reason that, you know, it blew up. And then he blew up at her after they had broken up while he was retrieving some of his stuff because she had broken a promise that she made to him while they were dating within a couple days of promising like a month of something. I'm not going to go into too many specifics because I'm really not trying to get too personal here. I'm just establishing some of the lore. But yeah, she broke a promise. It said, I'm gonna, you know, not do this for a month. And then a couple days later, she started not doing it again. And he blew up at her for that because he found out about it after they broke up. And I say blew up, like, he is a great guy. He is genuinely, like, very mindful and conscious of the things he's doing. He never got anywhere near physical, you know? He's never... I would never even say he was any kinds of abusive. I don't think he's even capable of that type of thing, you know? But I believe, because I don't know what to what extent, but I believe from what I've heard that he yelled at her for it. And he should not have done that. I don't condone that whatsoever, because it doesn't matter. They're not dating anymore. It does not matter what promises she might or might not have broken that she made to you while you were dating. And, like, he was still feeling somewhat attached at the time. Like, I can understand the reasons why, you know? And he was like, well, that was a breach of trust while we were in a relationship. But the key words are while we were in a relationship. You're not. Get over it. And he didn't. And he had to say his piece. And, like, she cried. And it was this thing. And they started, you know, trying to have him charged criminally. And I think it might have been more of, like, a threat than, like, an actual thing, because they had no grounds for anything criminal that he did whatsoever. They were making up fake stories. They were talking pretty, you know, big game about like, potential sexual assault charges, domestic abuse charges or whatever, like, pretty consistently, and like, pretty seriously, I think. Like, they ended up just leaving it alone, probably because of the fact that that was not true in any capacity whatsoever. But her maniac dad does not ever seem to care about his children unless there's, like, somebody to attack. So, like, he'll, you know, he'll try to control them. He'll make oppressive rules. He'll, you know, all of that. But then, as soon as someone, you know, hurts his daughter in any way, he's going ballistic. It just kind of seems convenient sometimes, because it's like, oh, well, you don't seem to care about your daughter when you're not allowing her to grow and mature as a person, but you seem to love her so much and, like, care so much about the things she does when somebody is there to attack. It's like he only has the combative mode. He doesn't have like, an actual caring father mode. And again, that's just my opinion, you know. Take it however you will. There was this one time where he hated somebody just for the way that they, like, you know, seemed, just for, like, the aura they gave off. It was strange. But yeah, I mean, when that happened, you know, she was out of the house living with a mutual friend. And that mutual friend said that she could stay until her dad heard about, you know, him yelling at her for something that happened while they were in a relationship. And then her father said that, like, he wasn't allowed anywhere near her ever at all. And because, you know, she couldn't rein in her father's crazy, she was no longer allowed to stay where she was staying, because of the fact that my best friend is always welcome at that mutual friend's house for any reason whatsoever. He doesn't even have to knock on the door. He can just literally walk inside at any time. And so if her father was gonna go ballistic, like, do whatever, file a restraining order, whatever. Like, if he was gonna do anything like that, be crazy like he is, then, like, she'd have to find somewhere else to stay. And so she moved back home. But yeah, all of that happened. And then she has a brother who is not much younger than her. He, he's a little bit younger than us. And by us, I mean me and my friends. And we were trying our best to hang out with him because, he's a little immature, also in part due to his whack job of a father, but, like, when I call myself a whack job, like, I'm calling myself a whack job because I'm just, like, crazy, not fucking, like, dangerous crazy, but yeah, like, he's immature as well, probably also stunted emotionally by his father. My opinion, I ain't getting hit with no damn defamation charges. It's my opinion. But basically, we were trying to kind of take him, like, under our wings and, like, mentor him, help him emotionally grow. He needed friends. He still needs friends. And we were really trying desperately to help him. And then the whole thing exploded, and, like, a couple of our friends tried to explain what had happened, but his sister had gotten to him first, and, he was loyal to her, and he didn't want to hear anything from anybody else, and so, he kind of blew up at everybody who tried to explain just what had happened. And, we hadn't heard from him for a while, and I'll get to having heard from him recently. He's a great kid, and I am still 100% down to be friends with him because, I don't think he deserves to suffer because of the fact that this relationship ended in a horrible fashion. But basically, we were trying to get him to come over to hang out sometimes, and, like, it happened a couple times, but what also happened was a lot of no's, and the no's are because his father is crazy, they will literally find any reason, like, I'm exaggerating right now, but, like, I could envision his father, punishing him for breathing too loudly. Like, the fact that that's not a reach or a far cry from anything that he'd do is crazy. It's wild. My friend and I have literally spent hours, like, different friend and I have spent hours of our time trying to rationalize some of the thought processes from him that we have seen, from the father that we have seen. We tried. We asked some questions to get some confirmation that one of us is right, and none of us were right. Not only were neither of us right, but we were so far off because we were thinking in the land of rationality, and it turns out this man lives in fucking Candyland, motherfucker. What? It hurts my brain to try to think the way he thinks. Anyway, yeah. But we were making predictions for the breakup because we knew it needed to happen. And one of the predictions we made was that we would be cut off from talking to him or, like, ever being able to hang out with him again. And for the most part, we were right. And it was really sad, but also and by him I am talking about her brother, again. It was sad, and like genuinely there wasn't much we could do, especially since he kind of resented some of us for, trying to contact him. Like, I mean, it literally, and I mean, only one person would have needed to text for this absolute fucking maniac to go ballistic again. But he was talking shit about, oh, your family and friends are harassing us. They're harassing us. If they don't stop harassing us, we're gonna fucking file restraining orders. I can't win in a physical altercation against him, but he makes me mad enough that I would try, because either I deal a little bit of damage, and, I get laid out, or I get, no damage, but I get a traumatic brain injury, so I don't have to think about him. I really just probably shouldn't think about him, and I don't usually, but, I mean, I promise this is going somewhere. But basically, yeah, we were like, fuck. And then recently, I was working with one of my friends on the car in my driveway, which, looking kind of hopeful for that, I do have to replace a pretty major part in it, but fingers crossed, that might actually work out. I might have a car soon, one that's actually mine. I'm currently driving around in my parents' car that's kind of mine because of the fact that I'm the only one that ever drives it. But I might have my own car soon, so that's hype. But yeah, I was working with one of my friends on a car, and he's like, hey, we want to come to this thing? And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, me and blank are going. I'll refer to him as brother for now. Yeah, me and brother are going. I was like, well, okay. Yeah, sure. Because I'm pretty sure that friend is the only friend in our friend group that has even interacted with brother at all since the breakup. Well, I mean, since he stopped talking to everyone because they were trying to defend my best friend, because everyone, well, not everyone, but a couple people texted him about the situation, trying to defend my best friend, and, but yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm hanging out with him tomorrow, and so I was like, oh, yeah, I'm down, I'll come with, let's go, and so I did, and it was, it was a great time, it was very fun, and, the night before, like, all of the situations were running in my head. It was like, well, like, is he gonna be mad at me? Like, I was the only one who really didn't text him. Like, is he gonna, like, thank me for being the only one who didn't, like, harass him? Is he still gonna kind of resent me because I'm, best friends with my best friend? Like what's gonna happen? Like, I was really concerned. And then I got there, I dapped him up, and he was like, man, it's been way too long. Like, I haven't really been able to talk to anybody. Like, and then he listed, like, he was talking about how he wanted to apologize to one of the friends for the way that he behaved during all of that. He's pretty much just let bygones be bygones and understand that, like, kind of blowing up at it was probably the wrong reaction. He was talking about how it kind of sucked how everything went down. And then just throughout, he kept talking about how it had been way too long since we hung out. And I was just agreeing with him every step of the way. And he's like, you can text me whenever you want. I was like, fuck yeah. Because, I enjoy hanging out with him. I enjoy talking about his interests with him. I think he's a great kid. And, I was kind of worried. And, like, it really isn't my place, but I do things or say things that it isn't my place to do or say. So I don't give a fuck. It isn't my place to criticize his father because I'm not a parent. And I've heard that so many times. But at the same time, I don't care what my place is. I'm just glad that he's actually, like, interested in still being friends, so that he might have more male role models in his life that aren't his fucking father. And, like, of course, I expect him to defend his father. Like, I told him, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of your dad. And he was like, yeah, like, I get it. He's a lot. And he still took an apologetic tone, which makes sense. You know, it's his dad. I mean, asking him to disavow his dad would be crazy work. I'm not doing that. But it's like, yeah, like, of course I expect him to look up to his father. Of course I expect him to, you know, to be apologetic to his father, to defend his father, even when his father is being a raving fucking lunatic. Because it's his dad. I think most guys who have their dads in their lives, this is not a diss to fatherless people, but, like, to most people who have their dads in their life, they'll try to defend their dad. If your dad left, you're going to be like, that rat bastard, what the hell? Because he left, you know? It's, I guess, you know, easier. And to be fair, I have a father, so I don't know. But I feel like it would be easier for you to completely disavow your father if he's not in your life than it is to disavow your father when he is. Because even if he's a horrible, shitty parent, there's always that part of you that still loves him because he's your father. So, easier. I'm not saying you can't disavow your father if he's in your life, but easier. But yeah, we got to hang out, and I was so happy. He was talking about, like, his birthday plans, because his birthday's, like, this week. He was talking about his birthday plans. He's going to a convention. He's super hyped, and I'm happy to see him happy, you know? I'm really, you know, I'm so glad that I actually got to hang out with him after all of that blew up, and that I still can talk to him. I'm like one of the only people that didn't unfriend him on social media, which is also kind of sad. But no, I'm very, very genuinely happy that he, you know, that he is cool with us, actually, because I want to be there for him. I want to help him, but I can't do that if he hates me, and I will have difficulties hanging out with him sometimes, because of the fact that he's probably not going to be able to ask his father to hang out with me. But he didn't ask his father to hang out with me. I got invited last minute. So I need that one friend. And honestly, the reason that one friend kind of gets off scot-free is that he's like a freelancer. And, like, I'm not talking work-wise. I'm talking, like, in terms of friendship-wise. Like, yes, he is friends with all of us in the friend group. Like, all of us are friends with him. But, like, he's kind of not part of the overall group. Or if he is, he's on, like, the very fringe outside of it. So, like, yeah, like, in his father's eyes, it's probably, like, a friend of a friend, rather than actually a friend in the friend group, because he probably is still pissed at all of us. I don't expect him to let go of that anytime soon. But yeah, I'm just glad. I'm just glad that he's, like, I don't think that I am in a position to parent him, and don't get what I'm saying confused. I'm not saying that I'm happy that he wants to hang out because he needs me, you know? I want to be there for him. I want to be a positive presence in his life. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to control him. I don't want, you know, to mold him into the perfect person, because, to be honest, the only thing that I ever want for anyone is for them to be themselves. And I think that, like, trying to mold somebody into somebody else is a recipe for them not being themselves, you know? And so, I am not saying that I'm happy that he, you know, is going to be able to hang out with at least me, and the fact that I'll be able to text him. I'm not saying I'm happy about that because of the fact that I could be a role model in his life. I'm just kind of happy that his father isn't the only source of inspiration he could potentially draw from. I hope he's inspired by me. I'm not really one to be inspired by, to be honest. But, regardless, that is only part of it. I actually do like hanging out with him. I think he's great, and I genuinely want to be friends with him. And so if anything I've said has made this sound like I'm trying to manipulate him and mold him into the perfect, you know, person, I'm sorry. That's really not what I'm meaning, but I'm just glad that we're chill. I'm glad that we're cool. I'm glad that, you know, I'm glad that everything ended up kind of evening itself out, and that we're gonna be fine. Because, you know, I didn't like the way that ended. I didn't like the way that, because, like, my friendship with him never really ended, but I didn't like the way that, like, he made his last impression on the friend group, you know? But, I mean, a breakup is an emotional time, especially when you're breaking up, like, an engagement, like, and especially when you have a lot of people invested in both people in the relationship, like, yeah. I'm just happy I can hang out with him again and talk to him again, to be honest. I will be slandering his father till I drop, to be honest. You know, love it or hate it, I'm gonna. I can't condone his style of parenting. I can't. There's nothing about it that I understand. You know, he's performatively religious. He's probably a narcissist, if I had to guess. Like things are morally wrong if he says they're morally wrong type shit, you know? Not for any other reason whatsoever. And then, like, he so strict. Like, I might be a terrible parent because I'm not going to be very strict with my kids, but I hate the feeling of being caged, being trapped, and all I really want is independence. So the last thing I can do is really impose that many limits on my children. There will definitely be more, like, rules and limits when my children are younger because they really don't know anything or what's going on. But once they start getting into their teenage years, like, they're going to make mistakes and they're going to learn from them. And I'll try and, you know, tell them. But if they're anything like me, they're not going to listen. But yeah. So there's kind of a story that really just led up to me expressing my happiness that a friend that I thought I had completely lost is back in my life. That's pretty cool. I also, you know, am very grateful for everybody who's joined the Discord, and I am going to plug the Discord because I never really promote it. It's just in my descriptions. But I am going to plug the Discord because of the fact that I really like the people that are on it, and I think it's a fun time, you know? You should check it out. We're all chilling. I kind of want to play some video games with some of the people on there, but I don't know what everyone really plays, so there is that. Yeah, probably should wrap this one up. If this one is my longest video, I wouldn't be surprised. If it's not, I also wouldn't be surprised. I yapped for a bit in the beginning about something that wasn't like what I was going to talk about, so it could be. I don't know. Yup. See ya. You think I'm gonna jump off of here? I'm crazy, not suicidal. What the fuck? Ah! My low battery better not have stopped the recording.